So, I'm not going to ask you why you can be German. I kind of already know most of that. We'll start with the basics. What's your name? Rank?
Private.
So today didn't go so well for you, huh?
No, it did not.
No. That's a shame. Might ask, what's an American doing embedded with West Germans?
I was tasked as a, what's it called? Guide, I guess you could say.
So the West Germans didn't know how to get into East Germany?
You could say that.
Are they perhaps reservists? Not used to service?
I am not for sure.
Not sure. So do you speak German?
I do not.
No. So that means those Germans must, at least one of them speaks English then, I assume.
Correct.
I've had reports of some leaving the conflict. I assume that would be. Assume those are the two that were able to flee the conflict.
Let's see.
So I assume that's the unit you bring across, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Should I expect to find their corpses or find them later, I assume, huh?
I have no idea.
You take very good notes.
Thank you.
Very good attention to detail. You're just a private, huh?
Just a private.
We have here is that a radio antenna of some sort?
Yes, it is. And I have no idea how this thing works. It is a German radio.
You just push to talk and that's all you need to know, huh?
Yep.
Can I see it closer?
Yes, ma'am.
You can take off your gear if you're more comfortable. You don't have to wear it all if you wouldn't wish.
I'm fine. Thank you.
Please copy down those frequencies.
Da.
Looks like a good radios. Got German qualities that work better than the US radios?
I didn't get a chance to use it, so.
So that's yours. Was the map yours or one of the Germans?
Negative, it was not mine.
I'm going to assume, based off the handwriting, that this must be the Germans.
I'm not for sure who you pulled that off of, so.
I'm going to guess it's the West Germans. Rape. They have rape right now. It must be a West German.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Guy, can you tell me what unit you're with? So I can call it up higher so they can advise that we do have you in safe custody.
315 Radio Relay Company.
want to make sure that we get it to the Red Cross that you're safe. Because I'm sure once they don't hear from you, they'll assume you were possibly shot. You want to make sure your family understands you're safe. You'll be taken care of. So other than guiding the West Germans, where were you guiding them to?
Guiding them into East Germany.
Give me the map. Can you show me approximately where you were intending to go?
Original plan was to guide them into this area right here, and then from there the German leader took it from there.
Okay. Do you know what they intended to do?
They were to commander's intent was a little fuzzy. I'm not for sure exactly what it was, but some type of disruptive operation.
The roadways.
So, yeah, my commander's intent was fuzzy. Language barrier there.
Understood. So approximately there at that grid marking.
We were originally to be just along this ridge, and then that was just, yeah, that was just where I was to take them to, because they had never been there before.
Is the German we have that you came up with, is he the commander? The German that
No,
you came
he's
up
not.
with? Okay. Were you to stay with the Germans, or once you left them, you were to go back?
I was to stay with them for the duration, so that I could guide them back.
Okay. So it wasn't a prepared ambush that you had, it was our troops happened to show up while you were moving across that area?
It was actually, we were set up to just observe at that time.
Probably should get for the Red Cross report. What is your hometown city of record so they can track you down?
Hometown?
Yeah. I'm gonna make sure that they don't send the notice to some other mother or wife.
Poor mother, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen.
Not married, don't worry.
Ah. Well, good, just your mother will get the notice then. I'm sure she'll have plenty of wine and TV to keep her busy until you get back, though. So that should be fine. Here, Missouri has some good wines. Not as good as from Germany, but good. So you're being very cooperative, Mr. I can tell you your stay in East Germany will be very nice.
Thank you.
Those who are not so cooperative sometimes have to be given over to the Stasi, and they're much more aggressive in their methods to get information.
Understood.
So I do appreciate that. In this sector, we've had reports of not just West Germans, Americans, but some Canadians and British. Do you have any interaction with them?
No. I know that they are around camp every once in a while, but I have no idea of what their operations or scope of operations are.
Do you happen to know what units they might represent?
I do not.
No. Okay. It appears the British are some kind of armored reconnaissance unit. Is that Do you see vehicles they drive around camp or
I
anything?
am not for sure.
So since they put you on as a kind of a guide for the Germans, assume that they maybe don't have you doing your radio relay job.
No, I was tasked this morning 30 minutes before they stepped off to guide them.
So normally you are manning a radio and doing the relaying job.
No, I am simply an attachment to a squad.
Okay. But for when
as a company?
Yes, when you're with your company,
yes.
Your company's no longer doing radio relay, they're being attached out to guide. Is that correct?
Just me.
Just you? It must mean you're very good at getting to where you need to go.
I just know land navigation.
Okay. And with your demeanor, I can see why they would have you work with West Germans, because they can be quite troublesome to work with. You must have some experience working with, disobedient children or something if they decided to give you to the West Germans. Lieutenant, you have any further questions?
Yes.
I think this, like I said, you've made it very easy to get the minimal information we need to get from you. Seriously, it'll be nice. I have my badge on camp if you'd like to see how it works here before we ship you off. Looks like you'll be here for lunch as well.
Alright. No MRE for me.
That's correct. We'll have hot chow here. So, you want to show them around a little bit?
I would, high up.
Dismissed. Continue to walk them around. Give you your radio back, or you can leave it in here, it'll be safe. It's your decision on that one.
Okay.
Said you can feel free to leave your equipment down if you don't want to walk out of it.
He wears the name on the pants.
Yes.
He's weird.
The Americans send everything they have off to be washed, so they wish not to get somebody else's pants back. Do you have my hat on when he comes in?
Sure.
Actually, I'll stand up when he comes in and sit down. Hello, have a seat. Have you been offered water?
Yeah.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like some rusks? It's dried bread.
Yeah, cool.
Any radio equipment or anything on this?
No, he has a map. That's coming.
Okay. So this is the Americans' map. Must be.
Yes.
Okay. Ah, Claymore.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Put it face down.
Okay. Administratively, this is a safety map. So
Right.
make sure it gets back in his gear.
Yes, sir.
We'll start with the easy stuff. What's your name? What's your rank in the West German Army?
Refrigerator.
Yeah. Okay. And which unit of the Bundeswehr are you part of?
Jaeger.
Es Jägertruppen.
En Bürgertruppen.
So if you could give me a little information why you decided to cross the border into East Germany, what your mission was,
I was told to do so.
He also had a day's ration.
to do so. So you're going to make this one difficult, aren't you? The American was easy. I didn't ask him too many hard questions. So his stay in East Germany is going to be nice. I'm sure over there in West Germany you've heard of the Stasi. I don't wish to hand over my prisoners to the Stasi. But if I don't get what I need from the information, then I have to.
Actually, I don't know what the Stasi is.
You might know the Americans, they have the CIA,
Yeah.
or the Soviets have the KGB. That's what the Stasi is.
Oh.
They're very much more aggressive than I am in getting the information they want. I try to be fair. I don't ask you anything that would cause you any harm. But I have to get the information. If I don't get the information, I have to pass you up to them. Many times, they don't come out of the basement. They have rooms with sloped floors that are tiled and have a drain in them. And they have to expend small ammunition to get what they want. I don't really wish to do that. You're a soldier, I'm a soldier. They're animals. So I will ask some basic questions. If you're truthful with me, you stay in the military chain. We put you in a nice camp until the Red Cross can coordinate and get your release. It's really up to you. I prefer to send my prisoners where they're handled nicely and they can return home to live out their lives. But I am a soldier. If I have to, I hand them up to the Stasi. And I'll be quite honest with you, I don't like dealing with the Stasi, and I know they're not out to get me. So I would not recommend being the person they're out to get. So, I understand you were told to come across the border. What were you told to do when you came across the border?
Wait.
Wait. So, just wait and report on things? Or wait for a further advance of troops and meet them?
I did not ask questions. They just told me to sit there and watch.
Watch. Okay. I see you don't have a radio, so clearly you're not the radioman, so maybe you didn't need to know what to report up. Okay. So in the Bundeswehr, even in the Jägers, they don't do mission briefings where all the soldaten know what they're to do, what the mission is. They just tell you the smallest piece they can.
Don't ask questions.
Don't question.
Do as you're told.
Understood, but they don't tell you what, other than step by step, what you need to do. For instance, we tell all our soldiers in a section what the mission is and all the details of it. So if the commander happens to get killed, that the mission can complete. And in dealing with NATO armies, generally, I find that they do very similar. But I've yet to have encountered Jaegers before, so maybe you operate differently, but I've also been led to believe that Jaegers are more independent than many of the others in the Bundeswehr and actually operate deep and can continue your mission with heavy casualties. So if this is true, if they don't tell you, that's good information for me to know. However, if you're not being truthful, and I find out about that, then I'm going to have to pass up that you did in fact lie, and that the Stasi will then come pick you up. So again, I'm trying to help you with this. And help myself. Because I think about those prisoners that do go to the Stasi and know that the ends of their lives were very painful. And that they will never see their families again. Dying in combat, that's an honorable way to go. Dying in a basement somewhere, in some drab building, with some Stasi animal, the last thing you see is no way to die. So I'm trying to help you. But I have to have you be truthful with me in order to do that. So you can honestly look at me and tell me that you were told nothing more than to go forward and sit and watch.
I wrote down all that they told me.
Okay. This is your notebook here? Okay. See, we can work together. There's nothing that I'm going to find in here that's going to get back and cause you problems when you return home. Can you show me in here the last briefing you have for this mission in your notebook so we can... I'll look at the rest here just to speed this up so we can get you on your way to the camp so you can get a shower and some good food. It's best if I can jump right to where we need to go.
I open it at random and then keep it open throughout the mission. Encounter enemy might get... I close it so that way.
That's actually a good procedure.
Happen.
So we'll have to look at that later. The American told me he was there to help guide you guys to a point, and then from there you would continue on. And that you were there just observing when our troops showed up. Does that sound about like the story?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have to assume that either your commander was killed and we did not find his body, or he escaped, as they saw some of your unit leaving. Other than American carrying a radio, was there another radio operator in your unit?
Yes.
Yes. Do you know if he was also carrying a 752, a small one, or was he carrying a larger one?
There was just one other Sim 35.
735? Because we did not find any other bodies, nor do we find any radios, so I have to assume that they're still out there. Red Cross report, I have to send them some information just in case there's others in the Bundeswehr with a similar name. So, can you provide me your age?
14.
14. Are you a reservist? Did they just call you up for this most recent conflict?
Volunteer.
Volunteer. So you must have lied to get in. Okay.
Very much so.
Very honorable. Do service for your country, even when you're young. What is your home of record so that we may make sure the message gets to your family through the Red Cross? So despite today's bad turn of events, have you enjoyed your time in the Bundeswehr? Is it what you were looking to get into when you lied to get in?
Most so.
Yeah. I mean, and then you got in the Jaegers, which, again, I know they're a light infantry unit. That's fairly impressive. Does your unit work with the Americans a lot, or is this the first time you've had to work with them directly?
First time.
First time? Okay. Do you have a chance to work with any of the British or Canadian troops that are in this sector?
No.
No? Do you see any of their vehicles they drive around or anything like that going through your camp or near your
Occasionally.
Because we've had reports of armor that we believe to be a British reconnaissance unit. I have not seen the Canadians in anything armored, but do you know of any other armor rolling around your sector? No?
Light infantry, we don't get armor.
Right. Do they at least give you some vehicle transport, or are you just on foot all the time?
But
So you're being fairly open, but I have to think that you're hiding some things. Some of your answers seem a little strained. Which leads me to believe that you're trying to conceal information from me. As I said, none of this is going to go into the report with your name out in the open, so nobody's going to know that part. The name information will go to the Red Cross. You'll just be the West German Jaeger Gefreiter that was captured to provide information. So even if NATO was able to get that intelligence report, they would not know you gave it. They'll know you're captured, and they'll know you're here. Your family will learn about that, and we'll get you transferred back over as quick as possible. However, the intelligence you can provide is your main value to the Stasi. If my report can go up and it has enough information, then they won't come looking for more. If I send a report up and it's very vague, or they find anything not aligned, they'll come find you in the camp before you're transferred over. Until the stamp goes on the report, you don't get released. That's how they work. In this report with the intel information, you'll be given an arbitrary number. It can be cross-referenced, but only by those with the proper clearance. So at no point will NATO know you provided any of this information to me. As far as they know, you said nothing. It could be you're just nervous, and that's why your answer seems strained. However, I've done this several times now, so I kind of understand how people work. I understand the more delays, the more looking down, and the more strained your answers are, the more likely you're trying to think of something to tell me that's going to make me happy enough to let you go. Unfortunately, the only thing that's going to make me happy is enough information that I know you will get back to your family safe. I can tell you with what I've gotten from you so far, you will be visited by the Stasi. Like I said, they may be East German, but I'll tell you now, I believe they're animals. I don't believe they have souls. I have not seen it myself, but I know we have had to deliver prisoners to them before, and you can never track down their files disappear. So that tells me they didn't make it home to their family. So all I'm looking to do is get you home to your family. So any of this information you're giving me just speeds up that process. All across the line we're capturing many NATO troops. So you'll be one of many. Nobody's going to track down that you gave the information. If I can give a report that looks like you gave truthful information, they'll process you through and you'll move on. If I don't, they'll come back. So I'm trying to help you and help myself. If I give a report that has nothing up here, then I get visited asking why I couldn't get any more information. And they're going to want me to be more like them. And here is their interrogation tool. I'd prefer not to use that. That is about all this is good for, is up close work. I prefer never to have to clean mine or fire mine except when we go to the range. I sure do not want to have to use it to get information out of somebody. They don't mind. In fact, you'll be lucky if this is one of the first tools they use, since their other tools are worse. Even the KGB officers are afraid of the Stasi. If you were an American they were interrogating, it might go easier. But you're West German. They particularly like to make West Germans suffer. So, again, help me help you get back to your family sooner. That's all I'm asking. Understand that you may not be given information directly on this orders. That's fine. But I believe you probably have more information on some of the other units you've worked with than you're giving me. For instance, your Jaeger unit. You have to be supplied by somebody at some point. Is it another infantry unit in the West Germans, or are you being supplied by other NATO troops?
We make 2 trips to the place where we want to go and carry food to last at least 9 days.
Okay. And is that a German depot or combined NATO arms depot?
I don't know where the food comes from. No one's told me, and I've never asked.
Looks like you had some communications training. Was that given by the 315th Radio Relay Company? I can see here you have good notes on various things about RF frequencies that operate.
It was taught by the Americans.
Okay. But it was taught by Americans, but you're not sure which unit.
No, not at all.
But you do know the American with you was from the 315th, correct?
I did not know that.
No, okay. Had you seen him at the unit that trained you on radios?
Yes.
Okay. But that's not the same place you go to get food, is where you went to learn about radios.
Not the same
Not the
place.
same place. It's a very good trick mixing up your notebook like this. The way you just open it up. Take a little bit longer for our analysts to find the information through this. And that does slow us down a little bit. So that's a good idea. Were you told to do that, or is that something you thought of?
I thought of it.
That's pretty good. So you were aware of the Canadian and UK troops, you just didn't have to work with them directly.
I knew they were in the area and never saw them when we were out.
Okay.
Never heard them.
Would you like some more water?
No.
Okay.
9.
You seem to have enough notes. They tell you a lot of things, but they don't tell you what they want you to do when you get there. It seems odd. Meinen?
Da.
Auch ne meinen.
Hm.
Also very good you don't put dates. Since you operate 9 days at a time, the food you need and everything. Also makes it difficult for me to determine where things were because you don't have dates in that. They've trained you well. So maybe the things I've heard about the Jaegers are true. Here they're carrying 2 claymores, 1 MRE. Does it only have 1 claymore on it?
One claymore.
Okay.
Full canteen. 2 full canteens.
I have notes in here of 2 claymores. They may have been on the other troops. I don't know, or they've employed it already.
You got 5 mags,
What kind,
1
of weapon,
grenade.
what kind of weapon system was he carrying?
G3, 7.62 NATO. Looks to be all loaded. Mark. That's it.
So I see in your notes about 2 claymores. Was that for this mission?
Yes.
Were you to carry both claymores?
I was to carry one claymore.
One claymore. And one of the other Germans was to carry the other?
I believe so.
I believe so. Did you stop and deploy that already in East Germany?
We were working buddy teams. I didn't see the other buddy team like half the time, so they could have
Okay.
employed it, could have not.
So, they give you a claymore to carry, but all they do is tell you to go follow and watch. They don't tell anything about deploying this claymore in East German territory.
We had a frago, and I'm not really sure exactly what it was. The radio guy heard it, and then I was directed to do other things, and I was first intending.
So what were you first intending? Was the watch part?
First intending was just to make travel difficult along that road.
Okay. See, these are the little bits of information that make it easier for me to get you home. And by that road, we mean Route 12 here, since you were contacted somewhere in here with our troops. Were you told to expect to actually shoot to make it difficult, or to use the claymores to make it difficult, so you could walk away and leave it be difficult?
I wasn't really sure on that. I personally thought that we were just going to stay there for a while, and if no one came, just head out.
This is not that hard. I can fill out my report fully. We get the information we need so that I can keep my troops safer. And I have enough information that the Stasi will let you go back home sooner. And nobody's hurt, because I imagine the rest of your sections will probably not want to be on that road right now, since they've been discovered and we sent people to hunt them down. So everybody wins in this situation. And you're not giving information that's going to cause anybody else to die. In fact, you're giving information that will keep my troops from dying, which makes me want to help you even more. So, is there anything else you'd like to give information on what you believe was going on, both this mission and just in general?
Towards
instance-
all I know.
Okay. What is the mood in the West German armies towards East Germany right now, and the Soviets? Is there everybody wanting to fight, or is everybody wanting this to be over so they don't die?
I'm wanting it to be over.
Want it to be over? What about your comrades?
Don't know, I don't discuss that information. Just ask them if they're hydrated.
But they don't, nobody's talking about wanting to go to war more, and waiting to get a chance to shoot. And nobody's complaining they want to go home, they don't want to be here.
No,
So everybody's just doing their duty and that's it.
doing as you're told.
Very good. I think that's all the questions I have for you. I'll type up my report and send it up. I'll make sure this information gets to the Red Cross so they can notify your family that you're okay, be taken care of, and that you're not some rotting corpse out on the field. Because I'm sure that's going to get back that you were missing in action, and we'll make sure that your family understands you're being taken care of. And we'll get this paperwork processed up, and if the Stasi blesses it, then you get to go home. And I hope we never meet again. Maybe stay home this time. Because there's a lot more things you can be doing than going out and starting wars in foreign countries.
It's not really foreign from Germany. This is all Deutschland.
Nine. This is East Germany. If you wish to defect, I can make that happen as well. No? You wish to go back home. Yeah, there's some that say that we should combine. And maybe someday we will. Maybe sometime you West Germans will understand why Marxist-Leninism is the best way to go. You'll get a chance to see how good things can be on the East German side, because I'm sure all you get is propaganda and told everything's terrible. But I see sometimes Western television, I see the crime that happens in Western countries. We don't have that problem. I see complaints of unemployment and homeless. We don't have that. Everybody has food, shelter, and a job. They don't have to go looking for one. So they're trained for their job, and they do their job, and everybody's happy. We produce very fine items out of East Germany. I can't say so much for some of the other war-packed countries, but East Germany produces very fine goods, enough that Western countries do actually import quite a number of our items. So maybe don't believe all the propaganda, but you'll have a chance to see some of this. You may not be able to tour the whole countryside, but you'll see that things aren't as bad as they're made out to be. So maybe you can go back and share that information with your family and friends, and then maybe we can end this nonsense of two Germanys. But it's going to take some change on your leaders in Bonn. They're going to have to come around to seeing the right way of things. Soon enough it may be settled in a more violent way. Depends how things go with this current conflict. So, I appreciate you finally being honest with me. I'll omit the part of your initial hesitance to provide information. I'll chalk that up to being a good soldier. Not put that in the report so the Stasi didn't have a reason to come and question you more. So, I wish you luck, though you won't need it from our side. You might need it when you get back, because I don't know how the West Germans are going to take you haven't spent time in East Germany. They may want to interrogate you violently as well. I've heard stories, horrible stories from them. They have the same kind of monsters and the same kinds of uniforms that we do in the Stasi. They just don't put them in the paper very much. So, thank you. Godspeed.